What do you think most people get wrong about motivation?
They think it's a permanent fix. They think it's something that is a constant. They think that maybe once I get it, I'm gonna hold on to it. And that's the thing about that I was telling you, that I always talk about, is nothing is permanent. Nothing is permanent. And a lot of times you have to learn to perform without motivation. You have to learn to perform without purpose. You have to learn to perform a lot of different things. And that's what people think. They think I need to have this motivation to work out, to study, to be better. So if they don't have it, they just don't fucking do it. And that's where you fail. You have to learn to train your mind well beyond motivation.
Hopefully they don't do what you were describing earlier, which I'll call spiritual entertainment, where they're just learning, watching, getting motivated, getting inspired. They're not doing anything with it.
But if you sit there and you find yourself wasting an hour just consuming, I think it's an easy path to self-destruction.
Motivation is just a word. You have to have these different things in your mind on where you want to go and know that motivation is not going to get me there.
Projecting yourself forward to see what are the consequences of failing, what are the consequences of stopping, is about as powerful of a motivation strategy as I can think of, you know? Because what you're doing is you're trying to optimize right now to stop the discomfort.
That's right.
But what you're going to pay for that in is shame and guilt and regret long term.
That's right.
So what you need to be able to do is bundle all of that up that is as yet unfelt, but will last for way, way, way longer. You know, the future is much longer than now.
That's right.
The future is going to extend out up until the day that you die, and the now is just for now. And even 130 hours is just 130 hours.
That's right.
And you get to look back, and do you look back with pride and glory, or do you look back with shame and guilt?
Because they're afraid to suck. Like when I got on camera, I was like, wow, I'm really rolling the dice now, because my life has taught me one immutable truth. I'm going to fail a lot. And there's nothing that tells me that that period in my life is over.
That's how it works. This is why not enough men are motivated enough. And this is why I have to keep moving. This is why you talked about earlier, is it ever enough? I can never be depressed if I never slow down. Speed is extremely important. Speed defies gravity. How does a plane fly through the air and defy gravity? Speed. It's moving too fast to fall. If you're always attacking life, if you're always doing things.
This is something that I've actually relied on a little bit myself. Whenever I get to a low point where I think, why do I even bother? I just remind myself, this is where most people stop, and this is why they don't win. And this relates to another one, which is a reminder for the gladiators in the arena who feel beat up and scarred with no hope in sight. Building a business is hard. Hard feels shitty. This is what hard feels like. And this is why most people can't do it. But you can.
Honestly, the odds are stacked against me. The odds that I fail are way higher than that I succeed, right?
Yeah.
And so going into that, I did not want to back myself into a corner where I was afraid to try things. I was afraid to step into an area where I wasn't good, because it's the only way that I know to get better, right? Which I call the physics of progress. I call it the physics for a reason, because I think it is truly the only way to improve is basically the scientific method. You come up with an informed hypothesis, come up with a test that lets you actually try that out. You test it, you get results, you stare nakedly at those results, which will sting a little because it almost certainly did not work as well as you hoped. You will then get a little bit wiser, you will reformulate a hypothesis, you will retest, and you just, that's the loop, right? And you just go, and you see what works and you see what doesn't.
You gotta learn to pick yourself up on your own. A lot of times these fights and these battles, you gotta be your own fucking coach, you gotta be your own motivator.
Who here thought it was gonna be easy? Who here thought it would be hard? They raised their hands. I'm like, guys, this is what hard feels like. And all of a sudden, there's just like this big exhale in the room. They're like, expectations get reset. This is normal. You wanted this thing. You expected it to be hard. Expectations now match conditions. This is what hard feels like. And then all of a sudden, it's like they got permission to feel shitty. And by getting permission to feel shitty, they stop feeling shitty because they're like, this is just my new world.
Yeah, I mean, I think that comes from overcoming. A lot of people, you know, wonder, how did you become this? How did you become so vulnerable? How are you doing a podcast now when you were this kid? You overcame things. You fought them. And now this is what happens. This is on the other side of overcoming. You become very, very powerful when you overcome yourself.
You need something that propels you. You need something that pushes you to go through all of this.